And yet another night where passion, power play, and payback were Ranger themes and capital punishment was administered. 5-1 Rangers over the Washington Capitals inside our Delta MSG studios. Alongside Brian Boyle, I'm John Giannone. Hard to believe the Rangers were losing 1-0 in this game, nearing the midway point of it when you consider how it finished.
It was a low-event game. It was slow. It was sloppy in the beginning, and that's kind of what we expected after the holiday break. This is a divisional game. You saw not a whole lot, and then the intensity pick up. There were more physicality, and then I really liked how they progressed through that second period after getting down and building their game from there.
Yeah, they did. They scored 3 goals in less than 6 minutes in that middle period and then built on it in the third. They win it by 4 goals. Quite a night indeed. 8th straight game with a power play goal. That hasn't happened in 14 years. They scored 5 in a row. They come back to win for the 12th time this year. That's among the league leaders. Now 12 out of 16 at home with a huge goal differential. And when Mika Zibanejad plays in his 800th game, he records a multi-point night with 2 assists. Artemi Panarin with a goal and an assist, and we saved the best for last because K'Andre Miller scores 2 in a game. He did that last March 19th against Nashville. He does it again tonight. K'Andre Miller with an assist as well on the night was a force at both ends of the ice.
He was, and I love the confidence. Some of these plays where they started was a lot different than where they finished. Now, you saw the nice backhand finish on his first goal. There was different plays, but these plays start in the zone. They come out in a breakout, and you watch Panarin do what he's doing. It's ridiculous what he's been able to do this year, but everybody's involved. There's a lot of motion going on, and here's what I like. The confidence up at the point. He's going to get it back here as it goes down to Panarin. It comes back to him. This is a high-stress situation as a defenseman, and he handles it really well. I think he was smooth. He was poised. He was patient. Little give and go here, and a wonderful finish coming up as he drives right to the slot. Does a stick lift, creates himself a little bit of space and an opportunity to make a finish, and the backhand finish is underrated because it's really hard for a goalie to read. This one I love from Kreider entering the zone, and that's just a bullet. That's something that I think years and years of practice could teach you, but this is where I really liked it because they're playing catch with the puck up at the blue line, and that's not always easy. He makes a really deft pass down to Adam Fox that creates the Lafreniere goal, but there was a lot of poise, there was a lot of confidence. A man who feels comfortable in, I think, at the blue line, in his body, making these plays, and I think the sky's the limit for this player in games like these that he played tonight are why I think that. I mean, it's the talent level's off the charts for K'Andre Miller.
Yeah, so on a night where he loses his defense partner, Jacob Trouba, to an upper body injury early in the second period, Miller with 2 goals and an assist, now goals 6 and 7 on the season. Moments ago in the Rangers dressing room, Michelle Gingras caught up with K'Andre Miller.
Huge second period by your team. What do you think of your response?
Yeah, I really liked our second period. I thought we were controlling the pace of play and making it hard on their D, and I think we were playing a fast neutral zone game, which just kind of set ourselves up for the rest of the game.
For you personally, just to come back from the break to have a performance like this, what did it mean to you?
It was huge. Yeah, honestly, I don't know. Don't think I've been really playing my best hockey, and I don't know. I went into the break with just some goals of coming out of the break, doing a little bit more, and luckily the puck found me tonight and was able to capitalize.
Go to the backhand more now?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Talk about the defense stepping up when Trouba went out of the game.
Yeah. Trouba's been so big for us all year, blocking shots, being hard in the D zone, just doing all the little things that you need your captain to do to win games. And I think when he went down, just kind of showed our depth in the lineup and how many guys we can call leaders on this team. I mean, we have a great group of older guys that kind of lead the way for us, and they set the tone for us.
What impressed you about the way Braden was able to kind of just slot in seamlessly there, though?
Yeah, Braden's been finding his game more. It seems like each game he plays, he's being a little bit more assertive, and I think the puck's finding him in places where he can be successful. So he's a fun player to watch, and sky's the limit for him.
And just last one, you said you had some goals that you went into the break with. Can you elaborate on any of those? Just what it was that you wanted to do differently?
Just play better hockey. I don't think there was any crazy recipe. I didn't think I was playing my best hockey, and like I said, I just kind of wanted to come back from break in a better mindset and do a little bit more for the team.
Yeah, by the way, some great looks at K'Andre Miller's night from inside our film room powered by CDW, but also very honest responses from K'Andre Miller. And I wonder from you, it sounds like he used the break to do a little introspection, take stock of his game. Is that a popular thing that players would do with 3 days off?
I think you constantly want to do it, but if you have some time, you have multiple days, I think it's time to relax, reset, and then after maybe 4 or 5 hours, you're like, okay, what can I do now? What can I do to improve? Whether if I'm playing hot into a break, how do I keep this streak going? How do I keep this momentum going? It's a great time to have a break when you feel like you're not playing your best hockey, which he clearly didn't think he was doing. He said it 3 or 4 times. I really loved how he looked inside, wanted to elevate his game, knowing that it's in there. We've seen it at times. We've seen it for long stretches of times. I think he's such an important player for the team. And he's humble enough to realize, I got to get better. So now this could be a jumping off point. Maybe he goes down a stretch. We don't know what's going to happen on the back end if there's any injury there tonight, but this is an opportunity for him to grab this momentum and understand, hey, if it goes poorly again, I can reset. It's a skill to learn that and build on that, and he's doing it right now. He said it, he did it, and now he can take that with him if it ever goes down again.
So Miller provides 2 of the 5 goals from the Ranger blue line. There was another goal from a Ranger defenseman. It wasn't Fox, and it wasn't Gustafsson, and it wasn't Trouba. It was Braden Schneider scoring again, and this one was a beauty.
Well, I just love his poise, and he gets the puck on the blue line and creeps inward. He wants to get in there and get a shot and score, and he waits for the screen to go through. He picks a spot, and he scores it. And I love his game. He's such a physical guy. But here he comes down Broadway. He wants to rip it, and I think he takes his time, not too much time. He doesn't dust it off, but he gets the puck without stick handling it with his head up, looks for a spot, finds it, and rips it. And maybe a few more shifts per period can do that to some players. I know it did for me. If I ever got a little bit more, 1 or 2 shifts even in a period that I was rewarded with because I was playing well, your confidence can go up higher. The game sort of slows down. I love his game. I love what he brings as a player physically. I think he's a huge element to that back end.
It's easy it's easy to forget how young he still is and how generally inexperienced he still is. But Peter Laviolette did admit, I think he probably has a little bit more offensive upside. Do you agree?
Well, I think he can make simple plays, and he plays with offensive players, so his point totals might increase. I don't get to see him in practice every day. I don't get to see him as much. I remember playing against him. He can skate well, he's strong, and he's proven he can shoot well. So if Peter Laviolette thinks there's more offense to his game, I'm not gonna argue the Stanley Cup winning head coach, but I just think there's enough elements to his game where you can slot him anywhere. He makes it important. If he adds that and has that confidence to create more and more offense, watch out for him. As K'Andre Miller said, the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the Rangers win it 5-1, now 24-8-1 on the season.